Money will make you a bitch if you ain't careful. This money here is not a reward. I literally felt like that money was a slap in the face. Okay, I'm here to tell you about the time when braids nearly caused me to have a breakdown. I find that when it comes to success, people only want to present the glamorous side. No one don't really mention the darker side. But today I'm gonna let you guys know just exactly what can happen when you allow money to be your master, and instead of controlling your business, you allow your business to control you. Okay, so let's back up. So from young, I've been braiding hair and K-rolling hair, but I didn't actually start my career doing Afro hair. I actually started doing European hair. I'd done an apprenticeship, and my teacher at the time, she was black. She said, you know what, there's so much money to be made in Afro hair. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know that. I just thought, you don't make no money doing K-rolls, you don't make no money doing braids. So when she said that, I was shocked. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then a couple of weeks later, she said, you know, she was encouraging us girls to go out and get our own models and maybe advertise on Gumtree and charge £5 and just let people know that we're practicing. When she said that, I thought, you know what, forget European hair. I'm gonna go out and pursue a career doing Afro hair, and I'm gonna start doing weaves, because obviously at the time weaves was really popular. So I thought, you know what, let me go and learn weaves. I don't even know how to do a weave, but I'm gonna find someone to practice on and I'm gonna charge them £5 and I'm gonna do weave. And that's exactly what I did. I advertised on Gumtree and I said that, you know, I'm looking for someone to practice to do a weave on, I'm training, and, you know, I'll charge you £5, blah, blah, blah. And I remember the first time I done a weave and it was horrendous. It took me like 8 hours, but she was really nice. As I said, she knew I was training, fine. And then obviously from there, I done more people. And I think after doing 4, I put the price up to £10. And then I done about another 4. And then at that point, I wasn't telling people that I was training, and I was just charging straight £20. Now, £20 back in the day for a weave, we're talking like 10 years ago, was like the going rate. So, you know, it was good. And obviously back then, I wasn't really advertising braids much. I was doing the odd braid here and there, but it was mainly sewings, it was mainly weaves. Obviously though, the better I got, the more my prices went up, and to the point where I think I was charging like £50 for a sewing. Back in the day, that was like at the top end. And yeah, because I've always wanted to be premium, because I thought, you know what, if I'm good at something, then why am I charging low? My clients always used to say to me, why are you not on Instagram? And you know what? I used to think, I don't know why I'm not on Instagram. I need to get on Instagram. And one day I just decided to open an account. I started advertising on Instagram. Now, Instagram was literally a whole different world for me. Like, one thing that was really apparent was the price. The price that these women were charging to do braids was crazy. Like, they were charging double what I was charging. I was like, if these women could charge these prices and I'm just as good as them, then I'm gonna charge that too. And I did, I put my prices up and I started advertising. I started taking photos and I started advertising. So now I'm on Instagram, and what I was finding was that people wasn't really booking for the weave, they were more booking for the braids. Now, as I said, I used to do braids back in the day, but it wasn't often at all. And the thing about braids is I've never really, if I'm honest, enjoyed doing braids because they're too long. At that time, I didn't really care, because obviously I'm getting paid big money. I always tell people that when I started on Instagram, I was making 0, obviously, and I went from making 0 to like £500 a week within the space of like 4 months. To me, that was crazy, because obviously now I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life. So then people started to book me more for the braids and whatever I was doing that. I remember when it all started to change, yeah? When it all, you might as well say, started to go downhill. That is when goddess braids started to become popular. I remember the first time I done goddess braids, my first set of proper goddess braids, and I was like, Jesus have mercy, never again, but it took too long. Anyway, I posted a picture up and then people liked it, so then people started to book it. What I was finding was people weren't really booking for the normal knotless braids, they were more booking for the goddess braids. Now obviously, because I saw that these goddess braids were in high demand, I decided to put the prices up even more. So obviously, I went from making £500 to like making over £1,000 a week. Yeah? Now, 2 things I want to mention, yeah? Number 1, money is addictive, yeah? The more you get, the more you want. And number 2, humans were never satisfied, because you know what? Obviously at first, making that kind of money was good, but then there comes a point where you're like, you know what? I can do more. You know, if I can make that kind of money in England, then Imagine I went to America and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go to America because you see them girls there, they know how to spend money. Yeah, so you know, I'll make a lot more in America. Yeah, greedy. I started getting greedy. Yeah, greed. Anyway, so I went to America. I went to America twice. Okay, first I went to Houston, which didn't really work out well. But then the second time I went to LA, which was more better. Okay, so obviously I went to LA. I had plans. I had big plans. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be near Hollywood. I'm gonna be the big time braider. I'm gonna be getting paid loads of money. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, again, I've never really enjoyed doing braids, and I enjoyed even less doing goddess braids. Okay, it was because it just took too long. The thing about goddess braids, even before you do the braid, you got to section out all those little tiny pieces, and that used to mess with my mind. You know, I'm the kind of person that likes to feel like I'm actually getting somewhere. But even before I started the hairstyle, I've got to section out all these pieces. Yeah, it just used to mess with my mind. And another reason why I didn't really like braids, it was actually very taxing on the body, like physically. Like you're on your feet all day, you know, your feet are hurting, your neck's hurting, your back's hurting, everything's hurting, right? And I used to get, you know, those skin, like, you know that bit on your nail that likes to lift up? Like, I used to get that a lot. And it used to just, when I used to braid, it just used to be torture. Another thing, I used to suffer with anxiety. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes I'll be doing someone's hair and, you know, I feel like the anxiety wants to come on. And let me tell you something, there is nothing more worse than trying to compose yourself, yeah? Trying to remain professional and not let the person know what's going on when you can feel yourself like you're gonna black out, yeah? And then to make things worse, you're looking and you're just seeing that you've got so much more braids to do. Like, there is nothing more worse. Now, of course, I know that if I was having a panic attack, I could have let my client know. But the thing about me is when I'm having like an anxiety attack or a panic attack, I don't like to let anyone know. I just try to keep my cool because I feel like if I let people know, it's gonna make me panic even more. So I just try to fight through it. So yeah, it was actually when I got to America, I realized, yeah, you know what, you can't go on like this. You can't keep doing this to yourself. You can't keep doing something that is causing you physical distress. So I made the decision there and then that when I came back to the UK, I was gonna start a new service. I was gonna offer a new service. So I came back to the UK and I tried to get another service off the ground. You know, I tried to offer tape-ins and more like those kind of hair extensions, but it didn't actually take off. And obviously now my money, even though I had like a lot of money saved up, my money is now going down because obviously I've invested a lot of it, just come back from America and all these things, and now my money's just running out. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? So I was forced obviously to go back to doing braids. But this time was worse because now I started to feel trapped. This was the first time in my life that I felt trapped because I was literally like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? Now obviously you could say, why don't you just get a job? Now the thing about me is, I've never really had a job. I'm just being real. I've never really had a job. I've always kind of worked for myself. I've always made my own money, blah, blah, blah. And due to like my social anxiety and all these things and blah, 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 like I just felt like getting a job just wasn't an option. Like, and as well, I was thinking, what job is going to pay me the kind of money that I'm used to getting paid? Like, it's not going to happen. And obviously, I know that when normal people don't like like what they're doing, they just get a new job. But for me, that wasn't an option. I couldn't just get a new job. Do you know what I mean? So I just felt trapped. But I just thought, you know what? It is what it is. Let me just go back to doing braids and whatever. So I went back to doing the goddess braids and blah, blah, blah. And you know, I was doing it for a while and it was alright. I believe the reason why it was alright is because I wasn't doing it as much because it was kind of like a busy, it was kind of like a quiet period. So I wasn't really doing that much. Now, there is 2 times in my life that really stick out for me. And this all happened within like a few months of each other. The first time I was doing a client's hair, it was a normal day, yeah? And you know, so the client comes now and you know, she wants these long braids, like long braids, cool, there's nothing wrong with that, but she bought the wrong hair. So the hair she bought was actually short, quite, the hair she bought for the goddess braids was quite short. So it was a lot more work. So what should have taken like 8 hours ended up taking 13 hours. Now, I know guys, I should have refused to do the hair. I know, I should have refused to do it that long, but I didn't because for other reasons that I'm not going to get into in this video. But I did obviously, on my website, on my booking page, it It tells you exactly what you need for what size, blah blah. Okay, so cool. All right, fair enough. She wants these long braids with these whatever, this short hair. Fair enough, cool. I think if that was the only problem, what would have happened next wouldn't have happened. Okay, but because this woman was also awkward, just, you know when someone's aura or whatever is just off, that's literally what it was. Like, she was just, yeah, she wasn't the easiest to deal with, okay? So let's just put it like that. She wasn't the easiest to deal with. So not only have I got to do these long ass braids, yeah, with this short ass hair, I've now got to deal with her, who's being awkward and just getting on my nerves, yeah? But obviously I'm trying to be professional, so it is what it is. So we finished, okay? Now by the time we finished, it was 1 AM in the morning. Yeah, this I should have been done long time. And I don't know what happened that day. You know, this isn't something uncommon, but I don't know what happened that day. All I know is maybe I just had enough. When she left, I promised, like, I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this BS. Like, literally, I'm done with this BS now. Like, I just remember feeling like, you know what? How much more of this can I take? Like, that was brutal. I just spent 13 hours, brutal. That should never have happened. Like, how much more of this am I going to take? Like, and she, on top of that, she was a nightmare to deal with. Like, how much more am I going to take of this nonsense? So I just remember I didn't have any energy. I just wasn't in the mood. But nothing. I didn't tidy up. I didn't do anything. All I could do was manage. All I could manage to do was go to my bed, because that's literally all I could do. That's all I could mentally cope with. Let me just go to bed because I don't know what's going to happen. I literally felt like I was on the verge of, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So let me just go to bed. Now, what makes this story worse is the fact that I could not hide this from my 14-year-old daughter, because in the morning, I could not get up out of bed. I was in so much mental distress that I could not get up out of bed. And my child, she saw that. So what she done is, because she saw that I won't get out of bed, she tried to make me feel better. So she done like this at-home spa, and it was so cute. She's like, Mum, I know you're really upset, like, come in my room, like, I've done something for you, and it was so sweet. So obviously I found the strength to get up, and, she made me relax and whatever, and it was so nice, and that literally gave me the strength to, it gave me the strength to go on. It literally gave me the strength to go on. So after that, I literally went in the living room, and I saw the mess everywhere, the hair everywhere, where I was working the night before, and I looked on the table, because she had left the money on the table, right? And I looked at that money there. And at that moment, I looked at it, and it looked at me. And I literally felt like that money was taunting me. It's in that moment I realised that, listen, money will make you its bitch if you ain't careful. I said to myself, this money here is not a reward. I literally felt like that money was a slap in the face. Everything I just went through the night before, that money wasn't a reward, it was a slap in the face. And I think I left that money where it lied for maybe a day. I didn't even touch it. It just stayed there. I just said, you know what, I can't deal with you. Whatever. So that was the first time when it was that's like my first time when it was like crumbling. And then, but anyway, I can't remember what happened after that. I literally can't remember what happened after that. I think I took some time off, whatever, until the bills came knocking again and it was time to go back to work. At this point, I want to say a little disclaimer, okay? What I'm about to share, it isn't a result of my clients. I don't blame them, okay? I can't blame my clients for what happened to me, because it's not their fault. They never knew that I was feeling this way, that they didn't know, and bless them. Like, the majority of my clients have been fantastic. They've been so lovely. It was nothing personal. It wasn't them. It was just the braids itself. I could have put a stop to this a long time ago, but I didn't. Anyway, so it was a normal day. I'd done this lady's hair. She was fine. She was nice. She was a bit quiet, but she was nice. No issues there, okay? So what happened next? There was no need for it, okay? There was no need for it, okay? Now, what I'm about to share, it really shook me to my core, because never in my life have I experienced anything like that, and I hope never again to experience that. And I can't even really put it into words, just what it felt like, but I'm gonna try it. So all I remember is when she left, this feeling just came over me, yeah? Because obviously I've been feeling overwhelmed. I've been feeling like this for a long time, but I guess it just all came piling on now, yeah? And obviously I was hungry, so I went to go get in my car and drive to the restaurant to get something to eat. It was like a 10-minute drive, it wasn't too far. But, so I'm in my car and this feeling came over me, okay? And I can't even describe it, but it was like, I just felt numb. I just felt withdrawn, like severely withdrawn. And I remember just holding onto the steering wheel and I just felt withdrawn and I felt numb and I just felt so detached from what was going on. Now, obviously I know I shouldn't have been driving in that state, I know that, but I couldn't, I don't know, I just couldn't think straight, I just couldn't. And I just remember driving to the restaurant, right? And I just remember like when I arrived at the restaurant and I was parking up, I just remember saying to myself, you know what, I can't get out. I don't get out. I don't feel like I can get out. There's no way I can get out of this car and go into the restaurant. I just can't do it. So I ended up just doing a U-turn and going back home. Yeah. And then when I went back home, I remember just sitting on the couch. Yeah. And it's like, let me just say something here. We take sanity for granted. The fact that we're able to think and we're in our right mind, we take that for granted because I'm telling you now, I know that I was literally at the door, at the brink of insanity because I could feel my mind going. I could feel my mind going. And now I understand that it's only by the grace of God why we're even able to be in our right mind. Because if it wasn't for God, I swear to you, my mind would have gone. My mind would have left me. It literally would have gone. And the scary thing is, what really shakes me is the fact that I was that close. I was that close. I was that close. Because I was that fed up and I felt that overwhelmed and that trapped. I remember just sitting on the couch, literally just staring, numb, staring. And then like, after a while the feeling wore off. It wore off. Thank God it wore off. The feeling wore off, yeah. But let me tell you something, yeah. That feeling was scary enough. But then what happened next scared me even more. Because when I looked at my bank balance and I saw how much money she had paid me, I smiled. I smiled and I said to myself, you know what, Shen? Suck it up. You're getting paid. And you know what? I knew in that moment that I could do it again. That I would go through all that again because I'm getting paid. And you know what? It was at that moment that I could sympathise with prostitutes and strippers. As bad as that sounds, I could relate. Because you know what? Those women, they do what they do, not because they like it. They feel disgusted with what they do because of the money. 9 times out of 10 it's because of the money. Because they're getting paid a lot of money. Yeah? So they will strip and they're getting paid. It makes them, they're disgusted, but they keep going back because of the money. And they say, you know what, I can do it one more time. Just suck it up, I can do it one more time. But in the process, their soul is being destroyed. Now I experienced what that feels like. Money had become my pimp. That I was willing to put myself through stupidness just for the sake of money. And I said to myself, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this, okay? We're not doing it. And it was at that moment that I realized, you know what, Shen, you need to be done. You need to be done with this. And hence why I then decided to go on to write a book from me to you, because my book was just basically about, you know what, I think I might be done. As a hairstylist, I think I might be done, but you know what, I want to pass on my knowledge, my 12 years of expertise and knowledge onto someone else. And in the meantime, I want to tell them, look, these are my mistakes. These are the mistakes I made. Do not make the same mistakes. So that's why I decided to write the book, which you can read because the link's in my description. And you know, I realized as well that as business owners, people only get to see one side. You know, you see us on Instagram, you see us making money, you see us smiling, you just think everything's fine. But you literally don't see what happens behind closed doors. And then two now, you hear that, oh, so-and-so's committed suicide, or so-and-so's ended up in a mental asylum. And you're there thinking, what the hell happened? Let me tell you something. If I would have ended up in a mental asylum, all my family and all my clients would have been there wondering what the hell happened to Shen, because they didn't realise. And this is why I've come to make this video, to take the mask off and to say, you know what? It's okay to admit when you're struggling, it's okay. And just to come here and just to say, you know what? Be careful, yeah? Be careful. In your pursuit of wealth and success, be careful, because you know what? If you don't watch it, and if you don't put certain precautions in place, that very thing, that very success that you're trying to run after, it's going to destroy you. I want to conclude by saying that I still do hair. I don't know how long I'm going to continue doing it, but for now I still do hair. I don't do half as much as I used to do. I probably take like 1 or 2 clients a week, if that. Okay, but I feel like I'm in a much better headspace. I'm focusing more on my coaching, focusing more on teaching other hairstylists how to build a successful business, at the same time teaching them what not to do and to learn from my mistakes. So yeah, and that's basically it. So guys, I really hope that by me sharing my story and being so vulnerable, it will give you the courage that if you're wearing a mask, to take it off, and that if you need help, to reach out to someone and say, look, I'm struggling and I need help, or I feel trapped, I don't know what to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, reach out to someone. Do not suffer in silence, because it's not worth it. Comment below if you've ever felt anything similar, because as humans, we always feel like we're the only ones going through it. And obviously, when I was going through it, I felt like I was the only one, but I'm sure I'm not. So guys, comment below if you've ever experienced anything like that. And I hope you never do. But I just really want to hear, like, what, you know, you guys experience, and with money, especially with money and success. Like, tell me, like, if you experienced anything like that. But guys, yeah, I'm out. So yeah, thank you guys, and stay tuned for more videos. But yeah, for now, I'm out.